Let's see if we can get this machine on track. Let's crack on. Hello and welcome to another Mr. Betamax video, and this one's a little bit different insofar as we're looking at the Sony SL-F30. We haven't looked at this before. This is the one with the heads that turned out to be bad. Well, I knocked the head chip off. The heads weren't bad. I knocked the head chip off. Just because of basically it was rotten on the part of the head drum assembly. I'll link to that video if I remember to do it. But we have, it's been absolutely fine, but we do have a couple of slight issues. The first one is that the tracking's really intermittent. So it's better now, but if I just start it, see, it's pretty okay there, but I will say it has improved a lot. But originally I was getting all sorts of strange tracking lines going all over the screen, and I was thinking, oh, the alignment must be just all over the place. It's sort of not properly aligned. It had been fiddled with previously as well, which didn't help. So I aligned it. I still had problems, and it turns out that this was bad. And I found that every time it did it, if I gave it a little bit of a wiggle, the tracking control, it would settle down. And well, you can see, yeah, see, it's playing up now. There we go. So yeah, there we go. So giving it a wiggle, and it's okay. Now it probably is going to be just some deoxit in there, and just check the solder joints on the back as well, because it does sort of hang off the board a bit. So I'll take the front off and do that. But you'll also notice we've got a bit of a noise line across the bottom, and that is something else. And if I do a cue, I don't know if you can hear that, but the tape sounds as if it's getting really quite damaged. It isn't actually damaging the tape to the point where it's permanent, but it is sort of ruffling the tape, and it's appears to be this guide here. It's a guide after the pinch roller capstan, and we'll investigate that. My feeling is it's probably going to be the pinch roller, and the bearings are starting to fail, but we'll see. Take it apart, we'll have a look. So I will say it's 8th September, and in the UK it's really hot. We're expecting the hottest day of the year tomorrow, which is just unheard of really for September. So yeah, if I'm a bit croaky and a little bit all over the place, that's why. It's just so hot. So anyway, let's crack on. Okay, so let's take the power off, and we'll take this front cover off. So 2 screws underneath, and I don't think they need to come out. This needs to be loosened off. Could be wrong, just trying to remember. And then we've got 1 screw on the top. And tabs on the side. You just pull the tabs out. And I think that should be enough, but maybe I do have to take those screws out underneath. I can never remember on these whether you have to. I think you have to. And then there's a centre tab as well. There we go. Let's gently prise that tab off. And there we go. Okay. So, tracking knob's actually dropped off, so that's fine. And it actually looks not very good. Let's just undo this screw to get the panel off. Slide this button panel off, or just check the solder joints, but I think we're looking at a dodgy control. Should need to undo those. Yeah, so the actual joints look absolutely fine. There's quite a lot of mechanical strength on it, so yeah, that should all be fine. But it's just the actual control itself. I think these just need a little bit of a squeeze just to bring this up. Give it a clean with some deoxit, and then I mean, we could take it apart, I suppose. Maybe. Do I want to do that? I'd have to desolder the actual variable resistor parts. So 3 connections. Pull down these tabs, pull back these tabs, and then lift up the PCB and pull it out. But I don't think that's necessary, because working this in, like I say, I wasn't really able to give a great demonstration because I've been playing with it and sort of got it going. So I do need to give this a bit of a clean as well. So let's get some deoxit. I'm just going to get a cloth because I don't want deoxit getting everywhere if it goes a bit weird. I almost need to do it that way, really. So it actually goes on the board and not just sits in the case, the enclosure. Okay, well, I think that is going to be good enough. Like I say, it seemed to really improve with use. I think I will just press this because it could be a little bit to do with the wiping as well, just not quite being as positive as it should. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, I'm saying it's malformed, but there is actually a gap there anyway. But it certainly seems to be sitting better, maybe. I think it is. So yes, I was going to clean this, wasn't I? So there's a little bit of muck behind there. So that's that. Just want to clean in here as well because it's a bit sort of dusty, grubby. The actual clock display window is perfect. I think I must have cleaned that, but just not dusted out the rest of it. So yeah, okay, I'll just give that a dust out and then we'll put it back on. Okay, super. So let's get this back on first. And that feels pretty okay. Yeah, it's feeling, well, yeah, it's feeling great the more I'm using it now. It felt just a little bit rough, but as that's working in, yeah, that's lovely now. I think I will just put a little bit in here as well. Yeah, that one feels just a little bit as if it needed that. It's a fairly open switch, so the deoxit will soak in well. So, fairly well cleaned the front cover. I've also used, you can use the Servicol foam cleanser on this. I've never known it lift off the legend off the buttons on a Sony, unlike Panasonic's where it just comes off so easily. And very occasionally I forget and it all goes horribly wrong. It will literally just lift all the print off. I should be able to get this back on quite easily. I've done a wonderful job on that door, but anyway, that's fine. We can sort that out as we go along. I think it's actually on the back of the door. Okay, so next thing is to look at the pinch roller. So let's plug this in, because it does its self-check. That usual pause that you get with these things. Okay, so yeah, let's look at that pinch roller. Okay, so I'm not too sure how well this is going to come across. One of my lights has gone a bit weird, so I'm missing a light, but also I've had to zoom right in. So just going to pull the power for what it's worth and just flick off with my nail the little clip, and then we'll whip off pinch roller. So the run on is good, but I'm just wondering if there is something not very true about the actual pinch roller. So what I'm tempted to do is I'm going to change it with another one just to test, and then I'll probably use, I've not tried it yet, and having spoken to Noel about it, I was a bit apprehensive about doing it, because when you're dremeling across a pinch roller, you're obviously running it quite fast as well. Well, you're putting pressures on it, and I was worried it might damage the bearings, but he's done loads and he's never had a problem, and they come out like new. So I think I'm going to use this as a test pinch roller. See, there's quite a bit of tape residue on that actually, which is interesting, even though this has had a jolly good clean, so that might be something. Yeah, I might just check there's no build up on the capstan as well, so I'll just do that. So yeah, I found another pinch roller, need a clean, but you can see the difference between the earlier and the later B2s. They are interchangeable, but the spring that actually goes on the shaft that this mounts on is taller for the later one. I mean, this is obviously a sort of design improvement by Sony. I don't know what the problem was with these. Maybe they distort a bit easier, I don't know. But yeah, these ones are the later ones. Like I say, interchangeable. If you're ever scrapping these decks, it's always worth, even if the pinch roller is bad, take the spring, because the spring is quite useful, so you're able to interchange if you need to in the future. But yeah, that's see, that one's, I think that one actually had mold on it. So again, if I use Noel Higgins fix, that will probably be a really good pinch roller for a future machine. But this one isn't bad, so I'm just going to give it a good clean because it's a bit shiny there. And yeah, we'll crack on. Okay, so that's the one I've taken off. That's the one I'm going to replace. They've both been cleaned now. Differences in bearings. This one's got a clean run on. This one, you can just feel a little bit of something going on with the bearing. It runs on well, but this feels smooth. So I'm going to try this one, and then we'll take it from there. But the one I've taken off, I mean, that's come up so it's like brand new. So I'm hoping this will be fine. But I'm going to put this on anyway. And oh, let's put this one on and just see, because this machine is really, it's low hours. The drums are perfect on it, and like the heads were good as well. Of course, it's got good heads on it now. But yeah, I'm gonna try the original one. So yeah, let's put that on. Okay, so here goes. So put it on. Spring's already there and located. So put it on. You have to lift it up a little bit past its stop. And then get the clip. Let's get the clip in place. You can't really see this. Just press it on. I was trying to press it on with my thumb. Of course, the anti-static drain for the top, for the lid of the cassette was getting in the way, so I missed. So let's give it a try. Okay, so here it goes. Well, that's actually looking pretty good. So tracking left, tracking right. Yes, that's actually working really well. Pause. Don't expect that to be terribly good. Yeah, so yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, that's really good. Excellent. So I think this is about ready to go. But what I need to do now is I don't think I've done the capacitors in the power supply, so I'll just quickly do that, and then yeah, we can put it back together and give it a final test. So let's crack on with this power supply. So we've got a few screws to take out. We've got one, well, three actually on the side, and they're all the same. We've got two right to the back of the power supply as you're looking at it. Let's just undo the power connectors first. You can actually pull these off, or push them off with your nail if you're lucky enough to be equipped with such things. And all the connectors are unique, so you don't have to worry about labeling them. So screw this side, screw this side very furthest corner. So I'm not taking the screws out of the PCB mounting brackets, and then screw here. These are short. In fact, the majority of them are short. All this type of screw, with the exception of the first one I took out from this side. It's just a standard screw, and I think it's just a bit of a jiggle. You don't have to take the bottom cover off, so yeah, that's great. So I have to say, this is a very clean machine, but it has had condensation at some points in its life, but I mean, there's no smoke damage, there's no dust. Looking at the SDK, I mean, it's like out the box. I mean, it's just amazingly clean. I have just given it a bit of a dust, but there wasn't really anything to remove. But you can see sort of evidence of damp, but it's not bad. I think it must have just been for a short while in a highly humid environment, if that makes sense. So let's get these off. Yeah, see that's moisture on it. Moisture evidence, although to be fair, I think that's just dust build up. So caps we're going to be changing are these, and then there's two more this side, these two. So I'll get those changed. I will also change the fuses with these machines. When they're energized or powered on, the fuses do actually very slightly, the wire inside very slightly flexes, and over time that continual flexing, it'll actually effectively break the wire. So it's not like there's anything wrong with the machine when the fuse goes, but it will just go, and I want to avoid that. So its new owner will have a reliable machine. So yes, how I do this is I lift this side of the board, and then you can get to the other side of the board from here. Now, I have covered this in previous videos, but you know, I'm just sort of doing this quickly in this one for people who've not long joined the channel. I know videos on this channel are not that well organised. It's quite difficult to do when you're sort of just going on a journey with these machines rather than fixing specific faults. But yeah, so I'll change these caps. I'll do it off camera because, like I say, I've covered it in previous videos. But we will go through the caps have changed and just see how bad they were as well, probably. And yeah, we'll take it from there. So we're all done. Placed all the fuses as well. So we've got 22 and 47 microfarad caps. That's the casualty list. No visible leakage, which is great, but yeah, it's worth doing them because they will go bad. Some of them are Elno as well, which do at this age of machine cause problems. So yeah, really cool. So put this back together and get it back in the machine and give it a test. Click. Okay, so let's get this power supply back in. This could be quite interesting actually to try and get back in. Because, yeah, so you have to lift up this side and then it just sort of slots in. So yeah, that's actually really cool. Let's get the colour coding right, because there's some that are sort of slightly red. I always want to put it in that hole, in the guide hole, not in the screw hole. So there we have it. Just for clarification on the two screws internally that you need to remove, it's that one there and then that one right in the corner there. So yeah, super, let's give it a go. Okay, so here it goes, applying power. Super. And we'll put a cassette in. It's cool that it has the instant on. And yeah, that's really, that's great. Working fine. So, not going to grab this. Tracking left. Tracking right. And yeah, we're all good. Fantastic. So, I mean, this is a great machine. So, yeah. All good to go. I do have a slight head switching problem. What I might do, I think I'll leave this one here. I mean, the machine is great, but it does look like I still have a head switching problem, and that does seem to go. Yeah, it's sort of going. Yeah, head switching problem. So I'm going to leave this one here, and then we'll do another video at some point on that head switching problem, and just diagnosing what's going on there. I think I might have a problem on the signal board, because I did actually check the head switching and it is correct. So I know the tape path is good. So yeah, okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. It's actually such a lovely machine, and very low hours as well, which is great. But yeah, we might have a little bit more to do, and that'll be a dedicated video on head switching. So yeah, like and subscribe. Really does mean a lot to me, and I will see you in another video. Bye for now.
On nie odpowiada.